Hey friends, how's it going? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the channel. I really hope you're doing well. So a couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys for some recommendations for games to play on my Steam Deck, and you guys absolutely smashed it. There was so many good game recommendations, and thank you so much for taking the time to send them over to me. And to be honest, I'm just gutted I can't play them all with my YouTube friends on a regular basis over the internet. Or maybe I can. More on that a little bit later. So anyway, first game, Persona 4 Golden. This was a really highly requested one. Praise for this game rained down like a golden shower. I'm so glad that this was recommended, as Persona 5 is one of my favourite games of all time. So as soon as Persona 4 came to Steam, I've been really wanting to give it a go. So if you're new to the Persona series, it's essentially an RPG, life sim, anime mashup, which revolves around an awesome story, super likeable characters, tactical turn-based combat, and most importantly, waifus. I straight up went into this game like,
single mom, reveal yourself.
Nah, I'm just joking. I was just here for the Persona vibes, you know? So yeah, I'm only about 10 hours into the game at the moment because this game's like 100 hours long, but so far I'm absolutely loving it, and I can really see where it's going because the beats are very similar to Persona 5. So you play as a teenage boy who's just moved into the Japanese countryside from the city. You start a new school, make some friends, get a weekend job, and just as you're thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm nearly 30, what am I doing playing this game? A dead body is found hanging from a TV antenna in your town. A day later, a mysterious figure shows up in your TV at midnight, and that week, the same figure is found dead on a rooftop. Before you know it, your favourite waifu has disappeared, nowhere to be found until her figure is seen on your TV at midnight. You and your friends set out to save her and uncover the truth behind these mysterious murders, all the while trying to study for exams, make friends at school, and lay down some moves on that hot teacher.
I'll be taking good care of you instead.
You have to make a choice how you spend your time each day, and depending on what you do, you'll get certain stat increases, boosts in certain characteristics which unlock new areas and dialogue options. But you have to use your time wisely, as every day that goes by brings you closer to another murder and ultimately game over. To prevent this happening, you have to make your way through a presented dungeon before a mist engulfs your town and your time is up. This gameplay loop is just so incredibly addictive, and once you spend a couple hours in this game, you just feel so embedded in the world and find yourself really caring about the characters and what's going on in this world. You'll even be really into like what you're having for dinner that night. This game just has a way of sucking you in, and the Persona series really is like no other game out there. The characters are a little bit tropey, but are still super likeable. The story's been great so far. There is a lot of dialogue in these kind of games, but most conversation is used in some meaningful way. The visuals are a little bit dated because this is a really old game. I believe it came out originally on the PS2, but because everything else is so strong, it really just holds up still, and all of the character art is just done beautifully. And oh man, the music. When I got into the main area, I straight up had to put my Steam Deck down and just like, it doesn't slap quite as hard as like Persona 5, but it comes pretty close. You just get so sucked up into this game. It's really one you have to play yourself to really understand. I don't think it's a game for absolutely everyone, but if you're at all interested in like RPGs or anime or anything in that sort of realm, I think you'll absolutely love this. And look, I know you're dying to know, but Mike, who's your favourite waifu? And I know I haven't played through the whole game yet, but it's clear to me that there's only one person for me. Mr. Morka. Whoo boy, those teeth, that vein, that attitude.
You'd better not even think of getting involved with the girls here, let alone abusing them.
Irresistible. Next game. Death's Door. I really liked this one. I've seen it pop up lots and it's always caught my eye, so thank you so much for the recommendation. So Death's Door is a top-down action-adventure game that centers around challenging combat, a beautiful art style, and wonderful characters. It's essentially like a mashup of like classic Zelda and Dark Souls. What? It is, okay? It just is. You play as a small crow who works as a reaper, collecting souls for the Reaping Commission headquarters, which is essentially like office work, but instead of filing papers, you file souls of the dead. Capitalism. Am I right? The game sets you out exploring the world in order to gather the souls of 3 bosses which you need to use to open Death's Door. Along the way, you'll meet some really great characters, solve some easy but satisfying puzzles, and get very angry at this little archer guy. Oh my god, he sucks so bad. I hate him. Combat is pretty tough and it only takes a couple hits to kill you, and on top of that you get no healing items. So fighting requires focus, patience and lots of rolling, just like Dark Souls. But for this reason, it's also incredibly satisfying. Clearing tricky areas and beating bosses after your 50th try just feels so incredibly rewarding and fun. And to be fair, I would say it's nowhere near as challenging as something like Elden Ring. I think just about anyone that puts their mind to it will be able to beat this game. You might just get a hernia or something. You're always unlocking upgrades and new, very Zelda-esque weapons and tools, which keeps things pretty fresh throughout the playthrough. My favourite one is the bomb, because you have to like hold a button to charge it up, and it makes me feel like The art style of this game is super beautiful. Each area was obviously built with a lot of love and care, and it just really shows. The music is wonderful. I actually think this may be one of the strongest aspects of the game. Every track was full of character and vibrancy and just gave such like a magical vibe to this game. I absolutely loved the characters in this game. I think my biggest criticism was that they're not utilised nearly as much as I think they should have been. Each character only has a couple lines of brilliant and often hilarious dialogue, and I would have just loved to have seen that more interweaved with the story. And on that note, the story's good. Nothing too like stand out or crazy. There was some quite profound bits of dialogue about death towards the end of the game, which I really think could have been built on more for a more satisfying, meaningful end. But I still thought it was totally fine. I just think they missed an opportunity there. And in case you play this game, just so you know, there is a secret ending which uncovers some more bits and pieces. But yeah, all in all, really, really good game. Really enjoyed it. Totally worth your time if it sounds up your street. Next game. What remains of Edith Finch? What remains of Edith Finch? There we go. Another really great one. Really enjoyed this game. It's nice and short and sweet. It's only about 2 hours long, so you can polish it off in like a Sunday afternoon. You play as Edith, a member of the Finch family who returns to her old family home to rediscover the events that led to the death of each of her family members. It's believed that a curse causes all but one member of each generation to die in an unusual way, and this game just gives off very series of unfortunate events kind of vibes. As you move through the game, each death is unfolded through a new style of gameplay. You'll go from flying around the forest as an eagle, to escaping a murderer in a first-person horror, to ruining your parents' wedding with a kite. And it's within the telling of these stories that the game really comes to life. Each tale transforms the game in really creative and interesting ways and comes with a haunting, mysterious story to back it up. In particular, Lewis's story really struck a chord with me. I think it was the most well done moment in the game. It perfectly illustrates the feeling of being lost in life and caught in a daze and a monotonous job, and how that can really spiral into a dark place. And I don't want to ruin anything, but the way this game translates that into gameplay is a streak of genius, in my opinion. So incredibly well done. I had to set aside my Steam Deck and just have a bit of a breather after that one, to be honest. The voice acting is top notch. The graphics are really beautiful, and the music, you guys really nailed the music in every one of these games. I liked the ending. I thought it could have been a little bit stronger, but that may just be me being an idiot. I think if you analyse deep enough, you can find some really important messages in here. And to be fair, there was, again, some quite like moving moments about death and acceptance and things like that. But let me know if you finished this game and maybe what you make of the ending, any kind of conclusions you drew from it. I'd be really interested to hear. But this is still definitely a game worth playing. It's such a beautiful, tragic experience tied together with this wonderful imagination, and it's one I think you'll really enjoy. Conclusion-ish, ending-ish thingy. All right, thank you so much for recommending these games, guys. I massively appreciate it. Playing through these games felt really special because they've been recommended by you. So thanks again for the wonderful suggestions. I really appreciate you taking the time to write in and tell me about them. Particularly that Persona one, that made me laugh. I've only made like 3 videos and already you guys know me so well. There were some other games that got a lot of requests, particularly like Firewatch and Hollow Knight, but I have already played them, so I felt dishonest putting them in this list. But they are both definitely games I'm going to talk about in a later video, although I'm only halfway through Hollow Knight. I'm sorry, okay, it's quite hard and quite long, alright? But yeah, I was looking at this long list of suggested games and I was just thinking the last thing I want to do is turn down playing these. Also, you guys are just super cool. You left some beautiful messages in those last couple of videos. So I thought it'd be really fun to play some of these games together on stream, if you're down for that. But I think I'm going to put in the date, 13th of October, at 7 PM British time, but I think I'll be setting it up on the channel soon so you can see if anything changes or when I go live. And if you have any specific suggestions that you'd like to play on the stream together, just let me know. As long as it's not League of Legends, anything goes. Thanks so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day and I'll catch you really soon. Have a great day. I already said that.